Hello, everybody. Welcome to the College Football Enthusiast Podcast. We're back after a really long break, an off season, but we're here in July, and I know you and I were both very, very ready for college football to start back up, as we're just in the middle of summer, waiting for, I like watching golf, and there's other sports on, but nothing quite like college football. And today for our first episode back, Beck and I just kind of wanted to start out talking about the Big Ten. And today we're going to talk about what our Big Ten record predictions are, what are some games we're anticipating, and some players that we're looking forward to watching it. So really excited to hop in.
Yes, can't wait to talk some college football.
Yeah, absolutely. Beck, you wanna start us out in our record predictions?
Yes, sir. So starting out at the bottom of my predictions at 3-9 overall, I have Purdue, basement of the Big Ten, 2 years of straight. Just with them rebuilding and a new coach that I think will be good in the long run, I don't think they have quite enough to make a big difference this year.
Yeah, we have the same bottom team. I think Purdue will be bottom, but I think they're going to go 2-10 actually.
Okay. I was looking through it and gave him a one upset in there, so
Okay, there we go.
mild upset. Gave him a Big Ten win at least.
Okay, there you go. Who would that have been against then?
Gave them a win home versus Rutgers. So I think Rutgers coming across from New Jersey wouldn't be able to handle the noon kickoff, which is likely at Purdue.
Yeah, that's true. Cool. All right, who you got in your 17th spot?
So I actually have three. We'll do it this way. I got three teams tied for 15th, all at 4-8, all actually also 1-8 in conference. I have Rutgers, Maryland, and Michigan State.
Okay.
So the one team that interests me the most out of those three is probably Maryland, because they have a 4-star, borderline 5-star freshman coming in at quarterback who is looking at possibly starting right away. So it'll be really interesting to see. I don't think they have much around him, but it'll be interesting to see how good he is and what that looks like coming out, or if he's worse off than Dylan Raiola was last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch. For me, in my tied spot, I was kind of with you. I had a tie here with Northwestern and Maryland, actually. I had Maryland at 8 losses, and then I had Northwestern at 8 conference losses, but I had them at 3-9 because I think they're going to drop the Tulane game right at the beginning of the season.
Okay, I also had him dropping the Tulane game, but I had him winning 3 Big Ten games.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right. There we go. All right, who is in your next spot? Oh, wait, one other thing. Sorry.
no?
Wisconsin. I have Wisconsin going 3-9 this year and losing 8 Big Ten games.
The Wisconsin bias has finally appeared on the podcast. It only took first episode of the second season.
I just think, man, going to Bama, that's tough. They got to play Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota, Iowa. I'm just not a Wisconsin guy, and I just don't see how their team's going to be any better this year than what they were last year. So, Wisconsin, Northwestern, and Maryland all taking that tied spot right there.
Okay. Yeah. I talk a little Wisconsin right here. I have them actually 6-6, so they're not even next on my list. I have them 6-6, 4-5 in conference, and the reason for that is I trust Luke Fickell. He was my first pick for Nebraska to hire 3 years ago. I think Nebraska has the right coach now, but I think Luke Fickell is still an amazing coach. And Wisconsin brings back around, I think top five in returning production in the Big Ten. So that plus a decent portal class, I think Wisconsin's going to be at least decent enough to make a bowl game this year.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you think that. Someone needs Wisconsin on their side because I'm not on their side at all for this year.
Yeah, I understand it, but I think they're going to get back to the run game like they should have always been. So
That's their that's their only hope for sure.
get behind the farm boys and get some dubs.
Absolutely.
So
Cool.
actually, next in my rankings, I have two teams at 5-7. One of them being Northwestern, which I talked a little about earlier, and the other one being Iowa at 5-7.
Okay.
I think that's Ferentz' first missed bowl game in I don't even know how long.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be crazy if Iowa missed a bowl game. I've got my only 5-7 team is Rutgers. I just think they'll be just a solid Big Ten team, but just the Big Ten is such a gauntlet, and I just don't think they have the firepower to keep up, especially with Monangai leaving. So yeah, I don't think they'll. What are you saying?
You don't fully believe in Calais McManus, the greatest quarterback of all time?
No, I do not. Not at all.
As I say this, and I have them 4-8. So
yeah. Rutgers 5-7.
They
And
also
then
just have a crazy hard schedule, though.
they do.
I'll talk about that real quick. Just a stretch of at Minnesota, at Washington, home versus Oregon, easy game versus at Purdue, and then at Illinois, Maryland, Ohio State, and Penn State to finish out.
Yeah.
Insane.
It's a rough schedule. I've got
real quick. I looked up Iowa. This would be the first time they would miss a bowl game since 2012.
Wow.
So rather bold of me, but I'll stand by it.
Yeah, absolutely. I had Iowa at 6-6.
Kind of where I had Wisconsin just sneaking in a bowl game.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Cool. And so now we're kind of getting into the 7-5, 8-4, 9-3 territory with teams and stuff. So who you got there?
So a little bit. I got one more 6-6 team along with Wisconsin. I have UCLA at 6-6, which if they didn't add Nico Amaliava at the last second, I think they'd probably be more at 4-8, 5-7, because I'm still not fully behind their head coach. But having Nico at quarterback, I think is enough to drag them to a bowl game at least.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think I had UCLA at 7-5 actually. I had them. Yeah, I think after them marching into Lincoln last year and beating Nebraska, my respect for UCLA went through the roof. So I've got UCLA at 7-5, and they're my only 7-5 team in the Big Ten actually.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay, so I have two teams at 7-5, both of which I'm pretty high on, but I think they just have hard schedules. One of them, the team that I almost picked to upset everyone in the conference as I went through their schedule, being Washington, because I really like the running back who's coming back from last year, coming off 1,000-yard rushing season. I think I think he's going to be a true sophomore quarterback. I like towards the end of the year as well, and I think that's the most underrated home atmosphere in college football.
Okay.
So people going into Washington, especially people like um, the one I almost picked that I didn't was Ohio State going to Washington in week 5. That could be sneaky upset material. But
And
so,
I have Ohio State losing that game.
yep, I almost picked it, but I couldn't.
Yep.
So I came so close to it. But
Yeah.
my other 7-5 team is Minnesota,
Okay.
who I also think will be good this year. They just
Yeah.
not to the top tier of the Big Ten.
Yeah. Absolutely. My 8-4 teams. I've got Washington at 8-4.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have USC at 8-4. And I have Ohio State at 8-4.
Woo! The two best players in college football going 8-4.
And I've got Ohio State losing to Texas, Illinois, Washington, and they fail to beat Michigan again.
Okay, so I'll start with we'll stay on Ohio State. So I have Ohio State going 10-2.
Okay.
I have them losing to Texas and Michigan.
Okay.
So which means we both agree they beat Penn State.
Yes. That's the only loss I have for Penn State is Ohio State.
Same.
Yep. Okay.
But as I said, I came so close to picking Washington to beat Ohio State. But I think I think they have too much talent for that.
Yeah.
Just and I think they have too good of a coach. So
Yeah.
even with the coordinator changes, I think that they just have too big of a coaching advantage along with the talent. But so
Yeah.
I had Ohio State 10-2. I could totally see 9-3, but 8-4 is crazy.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like they're maybe just gonna have a little bit of a letdown year. And I just think the Big Ten's really, really good. So I'm curious to see what happens.
can't disagree with that. But so what else? You said other ones were Washington and USC, right?
Yes.
So I also have USC at 8-4. So
Okay. I got their losses as Illinois, Notre Dame, Nebraska, Oregon.
I have Illinois, Notre Dame, Oregon, UCLA as their 4 losses.
Okay.
So similar on that.
Yep.
I have one other 8-4 team to go along with USC that I'm very curious how high you are on them since you haven't said them yet, and that is Illinois.
Okay.
I think Illinois just has too hard of a schedule to do what some people are hyping them up to be. I really like all the returning production. I mean, that's one of my favorite coaches in college football right there. So, I love the coach, but I mean, I have them losing at Indiana versus Ohio State, at Washington,
Hmm.
and at Wisconsin.
Yeah, I've got Illinois at 10-2, and they're gonna
Okay.
lose to Indiana and Washington.
They pull off the upset at home versus Ohio State, which flips the script.
Yes. I
Yeah,
do think
and then yeah, and then my Wisconsin ones, my late season upset with a desperate Wisconsin team begging for a bowl game,
Yeah.
pulling off an upset at home was my logic behind that one.
Yeah. Absolutely. So those are 8 and 4s.
Yep. Yep. My N4s are with USC and Illinois.
Okay. Who do you have for your 9 and 3s?
So I got two teams at 9-3.
Okay.
One of them being Michigan,
Okay.
which I'm surprised you haven't said yet because I didn't think you were too high on Michigan. But the other one, which is probably homer pick, but I have Nebraska going 9-3.
Okay. Let's get to my 9 and 3s, and then we'll talk Nebraska for a little bit.
Okay.
My 9 and 3s are Nebraska, Michigan, Minnesota,
Ooh,
and Indiana.
okay.
I'm pretty high on Minnesota this year. I like PJ Fleck a lot. I like Darius Taylor a lot. Minnesota is just one of those tough teams, and they have a pretty decent schedule this year. And I've got their losses as Ohio State, Oregon, and Iowa. And I don't know. I just think they're going to be a really competitive, scrappy team this year. And then Indiana, I've got them losing to Illinois and Oregon and Penn State. And then Nebraska, I have Nebraska losing to Penn State, Minnesota, and UCLA.
Okay. So I can get behind you a little bit on Minnesota. I really like their running back.
Yep.
I love PJ Fleck, but the reason that held me back was their quarterback with no experience.
Yeah.
And his name is Drake Lindsay, who's a redshirt freshman. I just couldn't put my full faith in that. And kind of along that line, so I had him going 7-5 because I had him losing to Cal in the non-con going out to California. I just
Okay.
think that's a tough matchup going across the country for that one. And I think
Yeah.
Cal's going to be decent this year. And then Ohio State at Iowa at Oregon, and I had them dropping a game to Northwestern as well late in the season. So
Sorry,
I just think Minnesota's
which team was that? Were you saying the second one besides
the last.
Minnesota? Sorry.
So the team I had them 7-5.
Yep.
The last two teams I said was at
Oh,
Oregon loss
yes.
and then at
Okay.
Northwestern loss.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Gotcha. Yep. I'm tracking with you now.
Excellent.
Yeah, I don't just the Big Ten is just so weird because I feel like there's not a lot of gap between every single team.
Yes.
And like, I don't know if you just get, scrappy and hot at the right time, then you can go on a little win streak. But if you're not focused, then you're going to go on a big time losing streak. So I don't know. Okay, let's talk Nebraska.
Yes.
My thing with Nebraska, it's going to be a close game against Penn State, but we're going to lose.
Agreed.
Um,
Might not be that close, but
I'm
I just think
thinking
Penn
like
State.
I'm thinking like a 17-14 type of game. We're going to lose to Minnesota.
Yes.
I
1,000% yes.
just don't see how we're going to win that game because we go to Maryland the week before, and last time we went to Minneapolis, we got embarrassed, not because we lost by a lot, but because of the way we lost. And then I'm fully on the train. I don't even know if this is a train, but I'm making the train that we're going to have the UCLA monkey on our back for a while. Because after they strolled into Lincoln last year, it was just the worst performance I've seen like at a Nebraska home game. I think in my entire life that I've like been in attendance for the game. I just don't see how we're going to bounce back from that after what happened last year. So I think UCLA is a game on paper you shouldn't lose that game, but I think we will. So, and I think we fall short of the playoffs. But yeah.
Okay. So really to start, I think our season's going to be defined off of the season opener like it has been the last 5 years or whatever. Because I think Cincinnati's a sneaky good team with a veteran quarterback.
I agree.
So if we don't show up ready to play, that's going to be tough.
Yep.
So we both have Nebraska getting a massive win in week 4 hosting Michigan.
Yep.
Which would be massive. That would be the biggest win in a long time for Nebraska if we could win that game.
Yep.
But so I have a 6-0 going into the Friday night at Minnesota, which I would bet my entire salary for a year that we lose to Minnesota.
That's a lot of money.
It is, but we're not winning Friday night in Minneapolis. I have extremely low faith.
Yes, I agree.
But so the game I think we trip up on, though, because I agree we lose to Penn State. I don't know if it's going to be as close as you think it's going to be. But I think the game we lose that we shouldn't is USC at home.
Yeah.
Which is why we then next week fly out to UCLA and we get a dub.
Yeah.
So yeah. I have a 9-3 slightly different way, but
yep. Yeah. I was thinking about it today. If there is a time to make the playoff, though, like this is the year. And this is why I say it. Yes, Dylan is young, but like our line, like this is the year to do it. Because our line is solid this year. And I don't know if it's going to get any better than what it is, for a while. Because I just feel like we got a lot of veterans on our line this year.
A lot of veterans and a lot of star power too on that O-line with a Notre Dame starter and an Alabama starter.
Yep.
Coming into it. But so I would agree with that. Plus, you look at the outlook outside of Nebraska, even just all the big teams in college football this year have new starting quarterbacks.
Yep.
Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, technically, Oregon, Michigan. I mean, the entire Big Ten outside of Penn State and us in my top
and Illinois
8 teams. Yeah, Illinois as well, but and USC technically as well because Mayava started the second half of the year. But like the top 5 teams other than Penn State all have new starting quarterbacks. So I think Dylan year 2 with the best wide receiving core we've had since Bo Pelini. And really the offense is going to come down to whether Emmett stays healthy. What worries me is the D-line because I think our secondary is really good. I think our linebackers are going to be above average in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
It's whether we can stop the run with the big boys up front, which worries me.
Yep.
Especially week 1 versus a very good run team and a running quarterback versus Cincinnati.
Yep.
A Michigan team that's their DNA. I think Minnesota's going to put up 250 yards on us like they always do.
Yeah.
But that's why I don't think the Penn State game's going to be that close because I think they're going to run for 300 yards on us.
Mm.
But I could be wrong by week 13. We might have the D-line figured out.
Yeah. The reason why I say the Penn State game is going to be close is just because I feel like we like go into the games where we think like, oh, we don't have like a chance in like after the Indiana game last year, we were like, oh, this Ohio State game is going to be an absolute demolishing, and we played them really close. So
yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like Rule knows how to get them hyped up for these like big games, and then they go in, and keep it really close when they really shouldn't. Probably, you know what I mean? So, but I agree.
My counter to that would be the Michigan game where we got slaughtered his first year, and then the Indiana game where we got slaughtered. So
Yeah.
he's done both, but I see the vision.
Yeah, and I see your vision too. Yeah, I just that the D line to me is the biggest question mark we have on our team, because I think they have a lot of potential, but are they going to be able to put that potential on the field and play as well as they need to? Just
Right.
losing that amount of big on the field, I don't know how we're going to bounce back from that.
Plus adding in it's a new DC that doesn't make it any easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I don't know. It's going to be fun to watch though.
it will be.
So, all right. Well, who do you have as your 10 and 2s?
So I have. So we'll just I'll say my top four because that's what I have left. So I have three of them 10-2, and then I have Penn State 11-1, top in the conference.
Yep, me too.
And then at 10-2, I have Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon. Indiana has another easy schedule year, and they will lose to every big team they play because they go to Oregon and to Penn State.
Yep.
I have them losing both those games, but winning out the rest of them because I really don't see anything else too difficult that they come up against. Like maybe Illinois, but they get to host them, which I think is tough for Illinois to go into Indiana. And I think Indiana brings back a lot more than people think.
Yeah.
And then the other three teams on there just I think have. I agree with you. A lot of the Big Ten is very close. I don't think Penn State, Ohio State, and Oregon can be included in that. I think they just have a lot more talent than everyone else on the field. The only question for Ohio State and Oregon is quarterback. And I think from what I hear, Julian Sayan's insane. So I'm high on him based on what I've heard, both this year and last year.
Yeah.
And then I trust Oregon's defense to be really good this year.
For sure.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, my 10 and 2s are Oregon and Illinois. Those are my 10 and 2s.
Okay. And then just Penn State ahead of them at 11-1.
Yep. Yep.
So on Penn State, if they are somehow to win at Ohio State, which I think is unlikely, and you had to pick them to win to lose a different game, who do you think it would be?
Nebraska. No, not Nebraska. I'm pulling up their schedule real quick.
Yeah.
Probably.
Because just while you're looking at that, I think it would be either
I'm thinking Oregon. UCLA or Iowa.
See, I think it would be home versus Oregon. At Kinnick is always a difficult game, or the one I could see is coming off of at Ohio State and then home versus Indiana. The game after that is they're going to Sparty.
Yeah.
And that has trap game written all over it.
It's true.
But I think the Big Ten's too tough for any team to go 12-0. So I do think they drop a game at least. And I think it's Ohio State, but
I think it's Ohio State too. James Franklin will not beat Ohio State this year.
It's interesting you say that. So now that we have all our teams,
Yep.
who is your Big Ten title game?
Well, I'm not sure how all the tiebreakers work.
Okay.
But from the way I would see it, from my predictions, it would be Illinois, Penn State.
Okay. That'd be
Because
fascinating.
because Oregon would lose to Penn State in my predictions, and Illinois would not lose to either team because they don't play each other. So it'd either be Illinois, Penn State, or Oregon, Penn State. But I think it's Illinois, Penn State.
Yeah, that might be. Yeah, I'm not sure how the tiebreakers would work in that situation, but
It's one of the two. It's one of the two.
right. Okay.
So
Because
yep. And the reason why I put Illinois as high as I do is not in the sense of like the bandwagon, I guess. Like they had a really good year last year, but I like the returning production they have. I especially like how many offensive linemen they return. But I feel like a lot of people in the offseason, I said, like, we're going to see how this team does with expectation. And I just think they're going to, like, Bielema's going to have them grounded. They're going to do really well with it. And I think they're going to make a run at the playoff. I'm going to assume Penn State is going to win the championship game. So I think Illinois would fall to 10-3. So I don't know if they would get in at 10-3. They may, but yeah, I don't know about. I think it's either going to be 2 or 3 from the Big Ten that get in this year, because I just think we're all going to beat up on each other.
Interesting. So the reason I had the comment about Ohio State, Penn State earlier is because they're my 2 8-1 in conference teams. So that would be my Big Ten title game.
Yeah.
But I think Penn State would get revenge in the Big Ten title game. James Franklin finally beats Ohio State.
Yep.
To win the Big Ten. So that would have Penn State would make the playoffs. Ohio State would make the playoffs because their losses would be Texas, Michigan, and Penn State.
Yep.
And then I think 4 teams make the playoffs from the Big Ten this year. Because I think the other 2 would be between 3 teams, being Indiana, I have 10-2, Oregon 10-2, and Michigan 9-3.
Yeah.
It would just be how well Oklahoma does, which I think is better than people think. And then how much they value the Indiana schedule again this year, because they have another easy schedule.
Yeah.
At least looking at it now. So.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Wait 1 second. I made an error in my scheduling prediction.
Okay.
1 second. I'm looking at it right now.
Late breaking adjustments.
Late breaking adjustments. That is for sure. Okay. So sorry about this one.
Which team are we adjusting?
We have 3 10-2s.
Okay.
I accidentally had a double loss put down. So the 10-2s are Oregon, Illinois, Indiana.
Okay. So Indiana could be in there because,
Indiana.
well, who do you have winning Illinois versus Indiana?
Indiana.
Okay, so then it would probably be Indiana or Oregon versus Penn State then.
Yep.
Well, who do you have winning Oregon, Indiana?
Oregon.
Okay, so that nullifies.
Yeah, I don't know how all the tiebreakers work. So my four possibles: Penn State, Illinois, Indiana, and Oregon.
Actually, it might be Oregon then because Indiana beats Illinois and Oregon beats Indiana. So my
Yeah.
guess would it would be Penn State, Oregon, which would be a fun game again.
A little rematch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Oregon this year. I like Dante more.
I think it'll be good. I really like their defense because they bring back Uyunglele at the end, coming off of 10 sacks last year.
Yeah.
So I think their defense is going to be nasty again. And they bring in I think it's the Tulane running back also,
Yes. Yep.
who's going to be really good.
Yes. Yeah, I'm excited, man. It's going to be a good season. What are some of your more anticipated games for the Big Ten season?
So I'll start with kind of the obvious ones. So early on, non-con, you got Ohio State hosting Texas. You got
Yep.
Michigan at Oklahoma.
Yep.
The classic Iowa at Iowa State.
Yep.
It's always a fun game. But I guess my under the radar non-con game would be Illinois at Duke. I think that's going to be tougher than people think for Illinois. I
Yep.
have Illinois winning that game, but I think that one will be really close.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be a good game. Yeah, I have no arguments there on games I'm excited for. I'm kind of sneaky excited for Northwestern Tulane, actually. I think that'll be kind of a fun game.
I can agree with that. That could be a very interesting game, very entertaining at the very least.
I am very excited for uh, Boston College, Michigan State as well. That'll be a fun game.
Yeah. See which team makes a bowl game pretty much.
Yeah.
About where I think their levels are at. So that'd be interesting.
And after playing Boston College last year, I'm like they were a fun team to play.
They were. Yeah, that good fighting team right there. They'd fit it right in the Big Ten, at least on
Yeah.
how they played in the rain with us.
Yep, absolutely.
So
Yeah, I think some like notable Big Ten games I'm really excited for. Penn State, Oregon, that'll be awesome.
Yep.
Really excited for Washington, Ohio State. Really excited for Illinois, Indiana. Really excited for Illinois, Ohio State. Obviously excited for every single Nebraska game there is. Obviously,
definitely.
Illinois, Washington, that'll be great. Yeah, there's just like no bad games in the Big Ten. You know what I mean? Like they're all just so good.
No, they're all just a blast. Unless there's a team like Purdue was last year where they just got obliterated by everyone. But I don't
Yeah,
think that's gonna happen this year.
yeah. Which Nebraska game are you looking forward to most?
Probably hosting Michigan because I think that's going to be the big test in the first half of the season, and I can't wait to see how that game goes because I think it's going to be close either way.
Yeah,
So I think that's probably top of my list, other than the correct answer, which is always the next one.
against Sparty.
No, just the next Nebraska game, no matter when we are in the season.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But
Um,
Sparty too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I'd probably agree with you for the Michigan game. Um,
I think some people would say USC, but
that'll be a good one.
I still lean the more traditional Big Ten matchup.
Yeah. What do you think Nebraska's ceiling is?
I think absolute ceiling is 10-2. I don't think there's any way we do better than that because I don't
Yeah,
think we're beating Penn State,
yeah.
and I think we lose guaranteed either Michigan or USC.
I
Eh,
think
I
I
think the
think
other
10.
game. Go for it.
Yeah, I think 10-2 for sure. But I think in that scenario would beat both Michigan and USC, but then we lose to Minnesota or somebody else that we shouldn't lose to.
Yeah, I was going to come back to that
Yeah,
since I was already betting my house on it. That I don't have.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, we aren't beating Minnesota, so that's just a guaranteed loss along with Penn State. So
yeah. How about my 10-2? Nebraska would be Penn State, Minnesota losses.
yes, yeah, I
Yep,
can agree with that.
yep. Well, good. I'm glad we agree.
Yeah,
Um,
which I think would be good enough to get him in the playoffs too, which would be insane.
that would be insane. Gosh, could not imagine on Selection Sunday Nebraska getting put in the playoffs.
No, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I barely know what to do with the bowl game anymore.
I know. What is it? Was there any other games that I missed that you're excited for?
Um, Probably the one that stands out is Indiana going to Oregon. I think that'll be really interesting early in the season. I
That
think
would be.
it's week 4 or no, week 7. I can read my own notes. So I think that'll be really interesting. That'll be a good test
Yeah.
for both teams to see where they really are. Because Oregon coming off a bye week after playing Penn State the week before, and then Indiana having
Mhm.
already played Illinois and also
Yeah.
coming off bye week
Yeah.
will be really interesting.
Yeah. If you had to pick one game in the Big Ten this year that you're saying like this is the game, I'm like I have to sit down and watch this game. Besides the Nebraska game, which game is it going to be?
My first choice would be the game, Ohio State Michigan, because it's always amazing.
Yep.
But outside of that, Penn State, Ohio State, because
hmm
just the madness that I expect to go on in that game. See how
Yeah.
James Franklin will find a way to lose it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one.
How about you?
Oh, man. Honestly, I think either Washington, Ohio State or Illinois, Ohio State. Just because
Yeah.
Ohio State's walking on, you know, honestly, I think I'm going to say Ohio State, Washington, because Ohio State has to make the trip out to Washington. And yeah, I don't know. I just think this can be a really rowdy game, like pretty high scoring too.
I
Um,
really hope that's a night game
I do too.
because that'd be crazy. Because those would probably be my other two, either Washington hosting Ohio State or Washington hosting Illinois. I think both those will be crazy games,
Yeah.
and I think Washington wins one of them. So I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Absolutely. But, um, well, we just got one little more, just one quick segment here. Beck, who are some of your players in the Big Ten that you're looking forward to watching this year? And then why don't you give me how about some key Huskers you're looking forward to watching this year too?
Yeah, definitely. So just to throw out the obvious players in the Big Ten, Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs. probably the two best players in the country for Ohio State. They're
Yep.
just so fun to watch. But my more under the radar players, so probably my favorite running back to watch this year, other than I will avoid Huskers for now. I'll add that in the next segment. But Jonah Coleman for Washington. Watched him a few times last year. Like I said earlier, coming off a 1,000-yard season, I think he's gonna be really fun to watch. Really interested to see what the Maryland freshman quarterback Malik Washington is going to do. See if he starts right away, and see what he can. See if he is the borderline 5-star that people rated him as, or if he's gonna take a little time to get into everything. But then some defensive shout outs. So one Uyangalele, I forget his first name for Oregon, the D end. I think he's going to be insane this year. And then shout out to my former Husker Ernest Hausman for Michigan, who's probably going to have 150 tackles this year.
Yes, sir.
Always love watching him. But
Yep.
for Nebraska players, I mean, other than Dylan, which is the obvious answer, the players I'm most excited to watch this year are Emmett Johnson, who we both love.
Yep.
I think he's going to be a beast, and if he stays healthy, is going to make all the difference in the season. Other than that, really interested to see where Trent on the linebacking core. I think he's going to be a beast. And then on the D line, whether we win 7, 8, 9, 10 games is going to come down to Riley Van Poppel and Keona Davis on the D line. I think they both could be absolute beasts, but whether or not they're ready for it with how young they are, I'm really excited to see.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good list though for players around the conference. I think for me, really, really looking forward to watching Dante Moore at Oregon this year. Just love like how he transferred to Oregon but wanted to sit for a year, behind Dylan Gabriel. So I think that's going to pay some dividends to him. Mm-hmm. Obviously really excited to watch Penn State's dynamic duo at running back this year. It's going to be really fun to watch. Really excited. I'm very curious about Nico at UCLA and how that's going to all play together. Very excited for Darius Taylor at Minnesota. I think he's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Cal's transfer quarterback to Indiana. I can't remember his name. His name slipped my mind right now, but really excited to watch him. I can't say I'm excited to watch Iowa's offense this year, but I am very interested because of their quarterback that transferred in, the South Dakota State guy.
Mark Gronowski.
Yes. Very curious about him. I'm very excited to watch that. And then Nebraska players, Emmett Johnson for sure. He finally has the wheel to himself. I want to see how he steers it. I think he's gonna be really good. Like close-ish to 1,000 yards. I think he'll be under it, but he'll be at like the 800, 900 mark, I would say.
Is that just rushing, or do you think rushing and receiving?
That's just rushing. I think with receiving, he'll be over 1,000.
I agree.
Yep. Really looking forward to watching our wide receivers, like the Dame Keaton, Isaiah Hunter, and Ja'Cory Barney trio. That's going to be really fun. And then with the two insanely talented true freshmen on the bench of, Cortez Mills and Isaiah Mosey, I just think our whole wide receiver core is going to be so fun. And just the whole offense in general of the tight end position, like it's really all new people in there that we haven't really seen play except for Luke Lindenmeyer and Heinrich just a tiny bit, but
A little bit of Carter last year.
yeah, a little
I
bit of
should have
Carter.
said Carter Nelson earlier. Carter Nelson, if he's healthy, which we still don't know, I think could be an animal.
Yeah, I agree. Defensively, though, super excited to watch Sierra Wright this year fully step into a starting position. Really excited to watch Williams Newary. I think that's how you say his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, really excited to watch him if he starts, just because he was a 5-star coming out of high school. Yeah, really excited for our linebacking core, like Desan McCullough, and Marquise Watson Trent, Javin Wright, Vincent Shavers, Willis McGahee. Like, we just have so much potential on our team and just so many young guys. Like, if they step into their roles in the way they should, we could be really dangerous this year. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's really fun to finally have some dogs on the defense again.
Yeah, I agree. So we're going to say that before all the time. So, yeah. But, well, Beck, I appreciate our time getting to chat some college football. It's making me very, very excited for the season and just really ready for, a late Saturday night when your window's open, the cold air is blowing in, you got a decaf coffee in your hand, and you're watching some late night Big Ten game. I'm so pumped. It's going to be so fun.
I'm so ready. Can't believe I still gotta wait a month and a half, but
Yep.
feels like it's coming so fast.
I'm hoping that the Open for golf this week, takes my mind off it a little bit. But yeah. But awesome, Beck. Well, super fun talking, and yeah, I'm really ready for the football season. But well, this has been the College Football Enthusiast podcast, and thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next video.
See ya.